A gunshot rings out in the middle of the wedding, and Emily Harper's life is forever altered. From that first locked gaze through the gunsmoke, when the stranger Liam Valenti storms across the garden and declares, "You're carrying my child, nothing is ever the same again." Hope you'll fall in love with this story, because sometimes true love really does begin with a single bullet. The gentle sunlight filtered through the sheer voile curtains of the hotel suite, illuminating my face as I sat motionless before the vanity mirror. My reflection stared back unfamiliar with sunken eyes, despite the meticulously applied foundation. 29 years old, a wildlife veterinarian, and about to marry a man I respected but did not love. The white lace wedding dress hugged my frame, elegant yet suffocating. "You look stunning, my maid of honor," my college best friend whispered while adjusting the cathedral-length veil. Her voice sounded as if it came from underwater. I forced a smile. "Thank you. 8 weeks?" That was how long I had been carrying a secret. The positive pregnancy test was tucked away in the honeymoon suitcase like a heavy stone in my chest. Derek, my fiancé, did not want children naturally. His family carried genetic disorders he refused to pass on. We had opted for artificial insemination with anonymous donor sperm at Riverside Fertility Clinic. Everything was clinical rational, just like our relationship safe, predictable, and utterly devoid of passion. The Fairmont Copley Plaza bustled below. 150 guests gathered in the garden terrace, their chatter drifting up through the open window. My veterinary colleagues, Derek's law partners, both families, all believed we were the perfect match on paper. Perhaps we were. Two professionals building a stable future. No messy emotions, no risks. My hand unconsciously drifted to my abdomen, still flat beneath the tight corset. Boy or girl, would the baby have my green eyes or the unknown donor's features? The clinic had provided only minimal information, good health, basic physical traits. Responsible reproduction, they called it. "Emily, it's time." My mother appeared in the doorway, eyes already glistening. She was thrilled that her daughter was finally settling down after years devoted solely to rehabilitating exotic animals. I stood the train of the gown, whispering across the hardwood floor. My legs felt detached from my body as we descended the curved staircase. Hotel staff smiled and offered congratulations. I barely registered them. Derek waited somewhere beyond those French doors, no doubt checking his watch. He was punctual to a fault. My almost husband. The processional music began. Wagner, traditional and expected. I clutched the bouquet of white roses too tightly, thorns piercing through the wrapping paper. One breath, 2 breaths. Then I stepped into the garden. The May afternoon was perfect. Cloudless sky, gentle breeze carrying the scent of blooming trees lining the terrace. Guests turned toward me, cameras raised. Derek stood at the altar in his tailored tuxedo blonde hair, perfectly styled expression, proud and satisfied. This was a good merger, his posture declared. Sensible. I walked the aisle alone, a small rebellion I had insisted on. Each step felt predetermined. My life following a script I hadn't written, but couldn't escape. The officiant smiled warmly. Derek took my hand, his palm cool and dry. "Dearly beloved," the officiant began. I tried to focus on the words, on the commitment I was about to make. Derek squeezed my fingers, mistaking my trembling for emotion. Perhaps it was just not the kind he imagined. If anyone objects to this union... The roar of engines cut through the ceremony. 3 black Escalades crashed through the garden-side gate tires, gouging the manicured lawn. Screams erupted. Derek's grip tightened painfully as hotel security rushed forward, but froze when the car doors opened. 10 men in dark suits emerged, moving with military precision. Not rushed, not panicked, controlled. They formed a corridor. And then he stepped out. Easily 6'2", black hair eyes, so dark they absorbed light. His presence hit like a physical force, silencing the chaos. The charcoal suit probably cost more than my gown tailored to emphasize broad shoulders, and a frame built for violence. A thin scar bisected his left eyebrow, the only flaw in otherwise devastating features. He looked like he'd been carved from marble by an angry god, and he was staring directly at me, Emily Harper. His voice carried across the terrace, accented with something Mediterranean, perhaps Italian. Each word pronounced with careful precision. "Step away from her. Derek finally found his voice stepping in front of me. What the hell is this security? The hotel guards had hands on their weapons, but didn't draw. Something about these men, their stillness, their readiness, made even armed professionals hesitate. The stranger kept walking, his men flanking him. Guests scattered. Someone sobbed, but he never broke eye contact with me. My heart slammed against my ribs. Fear and something else I couldn't name flooded my system. You don't know me, he said, stopping 5 feet away. But you're carrying my child. The world tilted. Derek's hand fell from mine. The officiant backed up, clutching his Bible. My mother gasped from somewhere in the crowd. That's insane, I managed, voice barely audible. I've never seen you before in my life. Riverside Fertility Clinic 8 weeks ago. He reached inside his jacket. 2 of his men shifted hands, visible and empty, to show he wasn't drawing a weapon. He withdrew an envelope, extended it toward me. There was an error, not an accident. Your procedure used my genetic material. The clinic is compromised, connected to people who want to hurt me, which means you're in danger right now. Derek exploded. This is harassment. You're threatening her. I'm saving her. Those dark eyes finally left mine, fixing on Derek with something close to pity. You can't protect her from what's coming. I can. Emily, get behind me, Derek ordered. But his voice wavered. He was a litigator, comfortable in courtrooms, not facing down men who radiated lethal capability. I couldn't move, couldn't process. My baby, the tiny cluster of cells I'd already started loving, belonged to this stranger. Impossible. The clinic had protocol safeguards. I don't believe you, I said, but my voice cracked. His jaw tightened. You don't have time to believe me. Look. He pointed past the garden wall. A black sedan I hadn't noticed sat idling on the street beyond. Tinted windows, but I felt eyes watching. Predatory and patient. They've been following you for 3 weeks, he said. Waiting for today, isolated location, minimal security during your honeymoon. You would have disappeared, and your fiancé would have spent years searching for a body he'd never find. You're insane, but my skin prickled. Had I been followed, those odd moments of feeling watched while grocery shopping? The car that seemed to appear behind mine too often. I'd dismissed it as wedding stress. His phone buzzed. He glanced at it, expression hardening. We're out of time. Gunfire shattered the afternoon. The sedan's door opened and muzzle flashes sparked. Guests dropped to the ground screaming. Derek stumbled backward, pulling me with him. The stranger moved faster, his hand clamping around my wrist with bruising force. He hauled me against his chest, his body a wall between me and the bullets whizzing past. Move, he barked at his men. They formed a protective shell, returning fire with weapons that appeared in their hands like magic. Professional economical shots. The sedan's windshield spiderwebbed. Someone inside shouted in a language I didn't recognize. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. My ears rang from the gunfire. His arm was steel around my waist, dragging me toward his vehicle. I tried to resist, heels skidding on grass. Let me go. Your choice. His voice was hard at my ear. Come with me and live, or stay here and watch everyone you love die in the crossfire. Decide now. Derek lay on the ground, covered by an overturned table face, white with terror. My mother crouched behind a planter, hands over her head. Another burst of gunfire sent chips of stone flying from the hotel's facade. A waiter crumpled, clutching his shoulder. The stranger wasn't asking. He was stating facts with the certainty of someone who'd seen this play out before. I stopped fighting. He lifted me effortlessly, my gown tangling around my legs as he carried me to the Escalade. The door was already open. He placed me inside with surprising gentleness, then slid in beside me, barking orders in Italian. The door slammed. The vehicle surged forward. Through the window, I watched my wedding dissolve into chaos. Derek staggering to his feet. My mother searching the crowd, probably for me. The sedan peeling away, pursued by 2 of the stranger's vehicles. The Fairmont's garden, a war zone. My veil caught on a chair like a ghost. Seatbelt, the stranger said, his voice returning to that controlled calm. I stared at him. My hands shook too badly to manage the buckle. He reached across his movements, efficient and impersonal, clicking it into place. His cologne was subtle, expensive. Leather and something darker. His knuckles were scarred. Who are you? I whispered. He met my eyes, and I saw something flicker in their depths. Regret, maybe, or resignation. Liam Valenti. He leaned back, blood seeping through his sleeve where a bullet had grazed him. He didn't seem to notice. And for the next few months, you belong to me. The Escalade merged into traffic, and my old life disappeared behind us. I woke to silence so complete it felt foreign. No traffic hum, no city pulse, just birdsong, and the faint rustle of wind through ancient trees. For one disoriented heartbeat, I floated in limbo. Then memory slammed into me like a freight train. The gunfire, the garden turned battlefield, Liam Valenti, hauling me into the Escalade while my wedding imploded. I bolted upright, heart jackhammering. The room was wrong. Cream walls, gleaming hardwood floors, antique furniture that screamed old money. Floor-to-ceiling windows revealed manicured gardens, encircled by stone walls topped with discreet cameras. My wedding gown lay draped over a velvet chaise, grass-stained and reeking of gunpowder. I still wore the silk slip beneath nothing else. Someone had removed my shoes, unhooked the corset. Panic surged, but the slip was intact. Small mercies. The door was solid oak with an iron latch. Locked. The window glass was too thick, bulletproof. A man in a dark suit patrolled the perimeter below, radio clipped to his ear. Security, not prison guards. Same difference. Breathe Emily. 8 weeks pregnant, kidnapped by a stranger claiming paternity, trapped in a colonial mansion. This wasn't real. But the bruise on my wrist where he'd gripped me said otherwise. A soft knock, the lock clicked. A woman entered, mid-50s, steel-gray hair in a severe bun, carrying a silver tray. Breakfast, she said, setting it on the dresser. Coffee, toast, fruit, yogurt. My stomach lurched. Bathroom through there? Clothes in the closet your size. Mr. Valenti will see you when you're ready. I'm not ready. I want to leave. Pity flickered in her eyes. Ring the bell when you want to come down. She indicated a brass bell on the nightstand and left. The lock snicked shut. I ignored the food, explored. Marble bathroom stocked with unopened toiletries. Closet jeans, sweaters, practical shoes, all my exact measurements. Someone had been watching me long before yesterday. The thought made my skin crawl. I dressed in jeans and an oversized sweater that hid my still flat stomach. Splashed water on my face. The mirror showed a haunted woman. Good, she should be. The bell stayed silent. I refused to summon my captors like a pet. Hours passed. Hunger gnawed. The baby needed fuel. I rang, once sharp, angry. A guard appeared, young, silent, gestured. I followed him 2 steps behind. The house was breathtaking, soaring ceilings, original oil paintings, Turkish rugs muffling our steps. We stopped at double doors. He knocked, waited, opened, stepped aside. Liam stood behind a massive mahogany desk in a library that belonged in a museum. Floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, a fourth wall of windows overlooking the garden. He'd changed into dark jeans and a black shirt sleeves rolled to reveal the bandaged forearm. The only sign of yesterday's violence. Sit. He indicated a leather chair. I stayed standing. I want to go home. You don't have a home anymore. He opened a folder, began laying photographs on the desk with surgical precision. The moment I took you, you became a target. Returning endangers everyone you know. You did this. You destroyed my wedding, terrified my family. You're the threat. No. His dark eyes pinned me. I'm the solution to a problem you didn't know existed. Come here, look. I didn't want to obey, but something in his voice, resignation, exhaustion, propelled me forward. The photos were surveillance. Me leaving my apartment. Walking Boston Common. Entering the veterinary clinic. In every image, a man circled in red. Same sharp features, pale eyes. Always watching. Ardit Kresniki, Liam said, Albanian organized crime, tracking you for 3 weeks. My throat closed. I picked up a photo dated April 23rd. I remembered that day coffee run before work. The prickle on my neck. Why? Another folder? Medical documents. Riverside letterhead. My name, genetic testing, 99.9% paternity probability. 3 years ago, I stored genetic material at Riverside before high-risk operations in my line of work. Standard precaution. His voice was flat clinical. The clinic's director, Dr. Arben Kresniki, Ardit's cousin, accessed my samples. When you came in 6 months ago, they saw opportunity. I sank into the chair. They switched the samples on purpose. Yes, he slid the test across, creating leverage. A child of mine is valuable. They planned to wait until the pregnancy was past the first trimester, then take you. Force me to surrender Boston Harbor shipping routes, or watch my heir die. Bile rose, my miracle baby a weapon. You're lying, justifying kidnapping me. He turned his laptop. Security footage, 2 a.m., Riverside side entrance. A man with a box. Freeze frame zoomed Ardit Kresnicki. He's been collecting files, selling them, blackmail. Your record accessed 16 times last month. I wanted to vomit. Why not go to the police? His laugh was bitter. Police can't protect you from these people. They kill cops like anyone else. And my hands aren't clean enough for scrutiny. So you're a criminal too. Yes, no shame. But I don't hurt civilians. I don't use children as weapons. And I don't let anyone take what's mine. I'm not yours. His gaze dropped to my stomach. The child is, biologically, legally once paternity is proven. Which means you are until this is resolved. I wanted to scream. I didn't choose this. Neither did I. For the first time, his armor cracked. You think I wanted a child in my world? I've spent my life avoiding this exact vulnerability. Then let me go, terminate, disappear. Too late? They know you're pregnant? Even if you aborted, they'd assume I hid the child. You'd never be safe. The trap snapped shut. What do you want? Stay here. Let me protect you until I neutralize the Kresnickis. After we'll figure custody support, whatever you need. He stood, moved to the window. You'll have medical care books, entertainment freedom within the grounds. But no leaving, no outside contact. That's imprisonment. That's survival. Light silhouetted him, face unreadable. I know it's unfair. You're innocent in a war you didn't start. But I will keep you alive, Emily Harper. Whether you cooperate or fight every step. We stared across the Persian rug. My fists clenched, nails biting crescents into palms. I hate you. I know. He opened the door. The guard waited. Meals to your room or join me. Test limits. Try to escape. The house is secure, but don't mistake protection for cruelty. He left. I walked back to my gilded cage, each step heavier. 3 days blurred in rage and disbelief. I ate for the baby, slept when exhaustion won, mapped every inch, windows, doors, guard rotations. No weaknesses. 2 weeks felt like years. I memorized Liam's patterns, study mornings. Italian calls on the terrace, always armed but discreet. We maintained icy silence. I refused meals with him, ignored him in hallways. He didn't push, just watched with unreadable eyes like gentling a spooked animal. Morning sickness worsened. Day 10, I barely left the bathroom. Mrs. Russo, gray-haired housekeeper, brought ginger tea unasked. Small kindness. Night 14, insomnia ruled. 2 a.m., I paced, 9 weeks now, 3 weeks until heartbeat. If I survived. What if Liam was wrong? What if the Kresnickis found us? Glass shattered downstairs, shouts, gunfire. My blood froze, more shots closer, footsteps thundering. I backed from the door, grabbed the desk chair as a weapon, positioned in the corner. Lock clicked, I raised the chair. Liam burst in gun-drawn shirt, blood splattered, not his. His eyes swept, landed on me. Now. What's happening? They found us. He crossed in 3 strides, seized my wrist. Chair clattered. Basement, move. Explosion rocked the house. He yanked me into the hall. 2 guards with automatic weapons scanned directions. They boxed us. Liam pulled me to a door I'd thought was a closet. Stairs descended into darkness. Gunfire echoed Albanian voices. Basement steel-lined walls, heavy panic room door. Monitors showed feeds, tactical gearmen swarming the garden. Muzzle flashes like deadly fireflies. How many a guard aced? At least 12, Liam replied, checking his magazine. Maybe more. Mateo, stay with her. Radio changes. You're going back out. It's my house, my people. His face flickered something raw. I don't hide. You'll die. Worried, Dr. Harper dark humor ghosted his mouth. I'm worried about being trapped if you die and they breach. Practical, safer than admitting the spike of fear seeing him bloodied. They won't get through Mateo. If they do tunnel behind the shelf. Garage 3 blocks away. Keys in lockbox. Code your birthday. I froze. How do you know my birthday? I know everything about you. He paused at the door. Stay quiet. Stay alive. We'll talk when this is over. Gone. Matteo locked the door weapon ready. Young face, steady hands. I sank onto the bench knees to chest. Monitors showed hell bodies falling. Liam on one screen, lethal efficiency. 2 shots, 1 attacker down. Vanished around a corner. Minutes stretched, gunfire sporadic then silent. Matteo's jaw tight. Over, I whispered. Don't know. Radio crackled. Liam's voice rough Matteo secure. She's safe. Keep her until all clear. Sweeping stragglers. 20 minutes. Door beeped. Liam descended new shirt tension in shoulders. Hurt hiding it. They're gone. Dead or retreated. House secure. How many dead? 8 theirs. 2 mine wounded. None killed. 8 people. Because of me. Because of a baby I hadn't asked for. I need air. Not yet. Cleanup crew, 1 hour. I need air now. Hysteria edged. He nodded to Matteo, 1st floor, away from windows. I pushed past upstairs. House, transformed bullet holes, blood-streaked floors, glass crunching. I stumbled to terrace doors, flung them open. Garden reeked of gunpowder and copper. Legs gave out 3 steps in. I sank to stone knees up, gasping. Liam sat beside me, not touching. Dawn pinkened the sky, indifferent. This is your life, I said. Death blood never safe. Yes, and you brought a child into it. His fists clenched. I didn't bring anything. This was done to us. I turned. He was 35, I'd found documents. Powerful, feared alone in his fortress. How do you live like this? Feel little, care less, keep everyone at arm's length. He met my eyes, safer. Sounds like hell. It is. Jaw worked. I never wanted to drag anyone in, especially not a child. Raw honesty. I thought of Derek's safe courtrooms, my quiet life with injured raptors. They really would have killed me, I whispered. If you hadn't taken me. Yes, you and the baby, no hesitation. I wrapped arms around my stomach. I don't want this. I know, infinite weariness. Wanting doesn't change what is. Sun rose. Cleanup crew arrived. Liam stood, offered his hand. I stared. Taking it felt like surrender. But my legs shook, his hand steady. I took it. He pulled me up gently, released instantly. Mrs. Russo will bring breakfast to the library. We need to talk next steps. They know this location. We relocate. Another prison. Another fortress. He paused. I'm sorry. You deserved better. I followed inside, stepping over scrubbed blood. Library morning light, unchanged books. I sank into the leather chair. Mrs. Russo brought coffee pastries. I took coffee gratefully. Liam pulled laptop. Seaport District high-rise. Better security. Move this afternoon. Okay, hollow word. He looked up, surprised. The attack had shifted something. Liam was a killer, yes, but he'd fought while he could have fled. His people bled for me. A stranger carrying cargo they never asked for. I need to understand, I said. The Kresnikis. Why this territory? He studied me, deciding, then began. For the first time, I listened without walls. Ignorance wasn't protection. It left me blind in a war I was trapped in. But that night alone in my room, I needed more than explanations. I needed to understand the man who'd upended my life. I waited until the house slept. Slipped barefoot down the hall. His study door was ajar, lamplight spilling. He sat at the desk, shirt unbuttoned, glass of amber liquid untouched. Photos spread before him, not surveillance. Old ones. A boy with his eyes, maybe 10, holding a soccer ball. A woman with kind eyes, his mother arms around younger Liam. Another Liam in military fatigues, desert backdrop scar fresh on his eyebrow. He looked up, not startled. Can't sleep. I stepped in. Tell me who you were before this. He exhaled, gestured to the chair opposite. I sat. I was born in Naples, he began, voice low. Father ran protection rackets. Mother tried to keep me clean. She died when I was 12. Car bomb meant for him. He sent me to boarding school in Switzerland. I learned languages, finance, how to smile while planning 3 moves ahead. He sipped the drink. At 17, I joined the Italian Special Forces. Counter-terrorism. Learned to kill quietly, to disappear. At 23, my father was assassinated. I came home, took over, expanded. Boston was opportunity ports, old Irish roots crumbling. I built something legitimate on the surface, ruthless beneath. I studied the photos. The boy with the ball, my brother Luca, died at 15, drive-by, wrong place. His voice cracked, then steadied. I swore no more vulnerabilities, no family, no heirs, stored samples as insurance if I died. My line ended clean. He met my eyes. Then you walked into that clinic. Silence stretched. I don't want to be your vulnerability, I whispered. You already are. He touched the ultrasound printout. I hadn't noticed paternity test attached. But maybe vulnerability isn't weakness. Maybe it's the only thing worth fighting for. I reached across, covered his scarred hand with mine. He turned his palm up, fingers curling around mine. In that moment, the fortress walls weren't just around us, they were between us, crumbling. I didn't forgive him, not yet. But I understood. And understanding was the first crack in the cage. I don't remember when I drifted off on the leather chair in the library. I only know that when I opened my eyes, cold moonlight poured through the window, illuminating Liam's face. He sat across from me, eyes closed, breathing steady, his hand still tightly intertwined with mine. A strange posture captor and captive enemy and fellow sufferer, holding hands like two survivors after a raging storm. I pulled my hand away, my fingers still retaining the warmth from his scarred palm. Liam opened his eyes instantly, no hint of drowsiness, as if he had never truly fallen asleep. "Go to bed," he said softly, his voice low and warm in the darkness. "We move tomorrow morning." I nodded without arguing. For the first time, Seaport District 6:47 a.m. Boston's sky was still misty, the glass towers reflecting a fiery orange dawn. A convoy of 4 gleaming black Escalades rolled silently into the underground garage of the new building. The Meridian floors, 42 to 45, owned by Valenti Holdings. The 600-square-meter penthouse was all bulletproof glass biometric systems, magnetic steel doors. A fortress in the clouds. Mrs. Russo had everything prepared. My room faced east windows overlooking the harbor. A king-size bed draped in pristine white goose-down duvet. A wardrobe filled with maternity clothes from week 10 to week 40. All high-end brands sized perfectly for each month of pregnancy. I stood in the middle of the room, feeling like a doll stuffed into a luxurious music box. Like it, Liam appeared at the door, leather jacket, faint scent of coffee. "Even if I did, what difference would it make?" I replied, but my voice no longer carried its former sharpness. He didn't smile, just nodded. "The doctor comes at 9, week 12 ultrasound. Do you want me to stay or step out?" I hesitated. Wanted to send him away, but feared the loneliness. "Stay." Private clinic inside the penthouse. Dr. Elena Moretti, Italian obstetrician, silver hair, warm voice, placed the probe on my belly. The screen flickered. Heartbeat. Thump, thump. Thump, thump. Fast like a baby bird flapping its wings. I burst into tears, unable to hold back. Liam stood at the foot of the bed, knuckles white gripping the chair. His face paled, then slowly relaxed. He said nothing, just stared at the screen as if witnessing a miracle he couldn't believe. Dr. Elena smiled. "Healthy. Gender not clear yet, but the heart is very strong. You need iron and folic acid." When she left, Liam still stood frozen. "Boy or girl?" I asked, voice hoarse. He shook his head. "Doesn't matter." Then softer. "Thank you. For what? For keeping it." I didn't answer, just wiped my tears. The weeks flowed like water. I gradually formed new habits. 6 a.m. Wake up light yoga on the private rooftop. 7:30 breakfast with Liam. He made omelets, roasted tomatoes, sourdough toast. 9 a.m. reading in the glass-walled library. I chose veterinary books. He chose military strategy. 11 a.m. walking laps around the penthouse counting steps. 2 p.m. nap. 5 p.m. routine ultrasound or blood tests. 8 p.m. dinner. 10 p.m. sleep. He never entered my room unless invited. But one night in week 14, I woke with severe cramps. I screamed into the darkness. The door flew open. Liam rushed in wearing only sweatpants, hair tousled. "What is it, leg?" "Hurts." He knelt, large hands massaging my calf in steady professional strokes. "Muscle cramp. Relax." I bit my lip, tears streaming from pain. He didn't stop until the cramp eased. "Thank you," I whispered. He sat back in the chair, didn't leave. "Want me to stay?" I nodded. He pulled the chair close to the bed, dozed off with his head on his arm resting against the bed frame. The next morning, I woke to find him still there. collar-wrinkled eyes shadowed. I quietly draped a thin blanket over his shoulders. Week 16 one afternoon, while reading on the sofa, the alarm shrieked. Red lights flashed. Liam burst in, handgun drawn. "Safe room, now!" I ran after him. The steel door slammed shut. Monitors showed floor 40 hallway. 3 men in black, masked automatic weapons. "Ardit?" I asked, voice trembling. "No, he hired mercenaries. Wants you alive." He opened a hidden armory, pulled out a bulletproof vest, strapped it on me first. "Wear this." "What about you? I have another." He donned a thinner, more flexible one. Radio crackled. Mateo's voice. "They're breaching the elevator doors. 30 seconds. Liam looked at me. "Listen, if I say run, you run. Don't look back." "Understood." I nodded, heart about to burst. The safe room door cracked open. Liam pushed me behind him. Gunfire erupted. He returned fire, precise, cold. 1 man down. The second threw a smoke grenade. Smoke filled the air. Liam dragged me down the hall into a private stairwell. We raced down 5 floors. He opened the door to floor 37, an alternate apartment prepped in advance. "Stay here." He locked the door, activated remote locks. Surveillance monitors, mercenaries trapped on 40, Liam's team cleaning up. He slumped to the floor, back against the wall, breathing hard. Blood seeped through his shoulder. "You're hurt." "Just a graze." I tore fabric, bandaged it with clean towels. My hands shook, but movements professional. I'd once patched up wounded lions. He watched me, eyes strange. "You're not scared." "Terrified, but I'm a doctor." He gave a soft laugh, the first I'd ever heard. Deep, warm. "Thank you, Dr. Harper." That night in the backup apartment, only 1 bed. I lay on one side, he on the floor jacket as a pillow. "Sleep," he said. "I can't." Silence. Then, "Tell me about yourself." Before all this, I hesitated, then spoke. About childhood in Vermont, parents divorced, raising an injured hawk in the garage. Vet school nights on call, saving elephants in Africa. Derek, a good man, but never made my heart race. He listened, no interruptions. When I finished, he whispered, "I've never met anyone like you." "What do you mean, someone willing to die for a stranger animal? Someone carrying my child and still wanting to save the world?" I didn't reply, just quietly shifted closer to the edge of the bed, nearer to him. Week 18, Dr. Elena announced gender clear. "It's a girl." Liam froze. I looked at him, wanted a boy. He shook his head slowly. "No, just never thought I'd have a daughter." That evening, he vanished for 3 hours. When he returned, he held a small wooden box. Inside, a pair of butter-soft leather baby shoes, white, embroidered with a tiny L. "For her," he said, voice rough. "Custom made in Florence. The softest leather possible." I held the shoes, tears falling. "When did you order them?" Week 12. First heartbeat. He'd been preparing for a long time. Week 20. I lay on the bed, Liam beside me, hand on my belly. The baby kicked. He startled, eyes wide. "Feel it?" I asked. He nodded, speechless, hand still as if afraid to break something fragile. Then he whispered in Italian, "Piccola mia." "My little one." I placed my hand over his. No longer kidnapping, no longer imprisonment. Just 2 strangers chained by fate, learning to become family. Week 22, one morning, Mrs. Russo handed me an envelope. Inside, Derek's handwriting. "Emily, I reported you missing. Police say kidnapped. I hired PIs. I'll find you. The baby, if real, I'll still raise it. I love you. Come home. Derek." I finished reading, hands shaking. Liam stood at the door, didn't enter. Want to reply? I looked at him, then my belly. "No." He nodded, took the letter, burned it in the fireplace. Ashes rose like fragments of old memories. Week 24, 3 a.m. I woke screaming my own voice. Dream Ardit Krasniki, gun to my stomach. Liam rushed in, held me tight. "Shh." I'm here. I sobbed into his chest. He stroked my hair, whispered, "No one will touch her. I swear." For the first time, I believed him. Week 26, Intel Ardit Krasniki in New York, preparing to cross state lines. Liam called a full team meeting. "We end this here," he said in the war room. "He doesn't get near Boston. I eavesdropped outside. He was leaving. The night before departure, he knocked on my door. I opened. He wore a black t-shirt, eyes red from lack of sleep. "I leave at dawn. Might be a few days." I nodded. He handed me a ring platinum small moonstone. "Not a proposal," he said quickly. "Just, if anything happens, my men will recognize you. They'll protect you with their lives." I slipped it on my ring finger. He looked, then leaned down, kissed my forehead, light as a feather. "Wait for me." 3 days later, no news. I didn't sleep, didn't eat. Mrs. Russo forced milk down my throat. Fourth night, the penthouse door opened. Liam walked in clothes, torn, face bruised, but alive. He looked at me, said nothing. I ran into his arms. He held me tight, whispered, "It's over. Ardit's dead. The family's broken." I cried, from relief, from fear, from love, though I hadn't said it yet. Week 28, we stood on the rooftop watching sunrise. My belly round and clear. He placed his hand, felt a strong kick. "Name?" I asked, he thought. "Luca, if a boy, but a girl. Sophia, like my mother. Sophia Valenti." I tried, "Sounds good." He turned to me. "You don't have to stay. If you want to leave, I'll let you. Safe. New start." I looked at him, then the brightening sky. "I'm not going anywhere." He closed his eyes, exhaled like a weight lifted. Then he knelt before my belly, before the sun. "Emily Harper, will you marry me? Not for the baby, not for danger, just because I want to wake up next to you every day." I cried, nodded. He stood, kissed me for the first time. Salty, sweet, alive. Week 40 in the private delivery room, I gripped Liam's hand. He was pale, sweating, but never left. "Push, amore mio, push." A cry rang out. Sophia Valenti, 3.4 kilo. Green eyes like me, black hair like her father. Liam cut the cord hands, trembling. He held her, tears falling on her cheek. "Thank you," he whispered to me, "for giving me the world." 1 year later, Boston Common. I pushed the stroller. Sophia slept soundly, tiny hand clutching Liam's finger. He wore a gray t-shirt, no bodyguards, no gun. Normal. We stopped under an oak tree. "Remember the day you crashed my wedding?" I asked. He smiled. "Worst and best day of my life?" I leaned into his shoulder. "Now what?" He kissed my hair. "Now, we live." Sophia stirred, opened her eyes, grinned wide. The old life vanished in gunfire that day. The new one began with a baby girl's cry and the hearts of two people who once thought they could never love. Boston Common, 11 months after Sophia's birth, autumn blazing in golden splendor. Maple leaves fell like rain on the cobblestone path. Sophia, now 12 months old, sat in her stroller. Chubby legs kicking, babbling dada every time Liam bent down to kiss her forehead. I, Emily Harper, now. Emily Valenti wore a cream cashmere sweater, hand intertwined with my husband's no bodyguards. No guns, just the three of us like any other family. But the memories lingered, lurking in every gust of chilly wind, in every glance Liam cast over the crowd out of old habit. 3 months after Sophia's birth, Liam received word a small remnant of the Kresniki clan in Albania was reorganizing. Not strong enough to attack, but enough to spread rumors. They want reputation, he said, in the penthouse war room. Now Sophia's playroom walls covered in elephant decals, stuffed animals everywhere. They're saying Valenti's gone soft because of family. I was bottle-feeding Sophia, looking up. "What will you do?" He glanced at our daughter, then at me. "End it for good." The final operation took place in Tirana, Albania. Liam flew out with 8 men, no details, just a kiss before leaving. "If I'm not back in 72 hours, Mrs. Russo will take you and Sophia to Switzerland." Accounts are ready. I didn't sleep for 3 nights. On the 3rd night, the penthouse door opened. Liam walked in, black coat, eyes, bloodshot but alive. He knelt before me, head on my lap. "It's done." No one left. I stroked his hair. "Come home, love." Normal life began from there. Liam pulled out of 70% of his underworld operations. Valenti Holdings was now a legitimate shipping conglomerate listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Still rich, still powerful, but cleaner. I reopened my veterinary clinic, Wild Hearts Vet Clinic, specializing in wildlife rescue. Sophia often napped in the corner next to a recovering hawk's cage. We had a clear routine. Mondays, Liam with shareholders, me with patients. Tuesdays, family park day. Wednesdays, Sophia's swim lessons. Thursdays, I taught Liam pasta, he still burned it. Fridays, date night, just us, Mrs. Russo babysat. Weekends in Vermont visiting my mother, she forgave everything after Liam proposed to me a second time on one knee in front of her. Sophia turned to her first full sentence, mama bird, at a sparrow outside the window. That was also when I discovered I was pregnant again. 2 lines on the test in the bathroom. I stood frozen. Liam knocked. You okay, Sophia? Wants a story? I opened the door, handed him the stick. He stared, face pale. Real, I nodded. He crushed me in a hug so tight I couldn't breathe. Boy or girl, too early. 5 weeks. He knelt, kissed my stomach. Hey, little number 2. The second pregnancy was easier, but no less dramatic. Morning sickness hit harder. Liam canceled all meetings, stayed home, rubbing my back, cooking oatmeal. Week 16, ultrasound twins. 2, I gasped. Dr. Elena smiled. Yes, 1 boy, 1 girl. Liam collapsed into a chair. Dear God. Fateful night, week 28, 3 a.m. I woke in pain, water broke. Liam panicked the first time ever. Hospital now. He carried me to the car, drove like a maniac to Mass General VIP delivery suite prepped. Emergency C-section. First boy, Luca Valenti, 2.9 kilom. Second girl, Lucia Valenti, 2.7 kilon. Liam cried the first time I saw him weep openly. Family of 5. Sophia, now big sister, kissed her siblings' foreheads, whispering, my babies. We moved to a suburban estate 40 minutes from Boston, with gardens, a pond, a wildlife rescue barn. Liam built a massive playroom mini climbing wall slide reading nook. I expanded the clinic now with a full rehab wing for animals. We held a proper wedding, not out of obligation, not out of danger. In Vermont, under crimson maples. 100 guests, family, friends, colleagues, no security. I wore simple white lace, Liam in gray suit wildflower boutonniere picked by Sophia that morning. Sophia scattered petals. Luca and Lucia slept in strollers pushed by Mrs. Russo. Vows, Liam, I vow to protect you, love you, and learn to change diapers every day. Emily, I vow to heal every wound, yours, our children's, and any lost creatures. Kiss under a shower of golden leaves. 5 years later, Valenti Estate, Sunday morning. Sophia, 6, rode her pony in the yard. Luca and Lucia, 4, chased after giggling. Liam grilled BBQ. I checked on a new red panda rescue recovering in the barn. He wiped his hands, came up behind me, arms around my waist. Dr. Valenti free tonight for what, to add another member? He winked. I laughed. We'll see. Life isn't perfect. I still wake from nightmares. Liam still gets late-night calls from the past. But we have each other. Sophia now rides horses. Luca loves soccer. Lucia paints on every wall. My clinic saves hundreds of animals yearly. Valenti Holdings funds conservation. Liam learned to change diapers, cook, and smile. Real smiles, no more cold mask. I learned to trust, to love, to forgive. Every night after the kids sleep, we sit on the rooftop stargazing. Remember the day you crashed my wedding, I ask. He smiles. Worst and best day of my life. I lean into his shoulder. Now what? He kisses my hair. Now. We live. Sophia stirs in her sleep. Luca mumbles dreams. Lucia hugs her teddy. From a wedding shattered by gunfire to a family of 5 in a home filled with laughter. From captor and captive to husband and wife, father and mother. From darkness to dawn. The old life vanished in gunfire that day. The new one began with children's cries and the hearts of 2 people who once thought they could never love, now loving fully.